Welcome to the Russell Hantz Show. Today we're going to talk about a mother's point of view with her kids and grandson being on reality TV, which would be me on Survivor, Brandon on Survivor, and Willie on Big Brother. How you doing, Mom?
I'm doing good.
Good. So, you had all of us on first. I was on reality TV, but we're going to talk about Brandon first. Brandon was on Survivor, just like I was. Mm-hmm. Did you watch him?
Uh, well, Brendan came kind of after Russell, and I by that time I was kind of disheartened about it a little bit, about the show in general, because it's just hard just to sit around and watch them do what they have to do and then get slam blasted by the public. It's just hard for me to watch, so I didn't watch that too much. No.
Okay, well, we'll talk about my first season. I went out there and I was gone for approximately 50 days or so. Come back, you don't know what's going on. And once it started, like the commercials start running and they start talking about Russell. One of the commercials was like, there's a new name for evil, Russell. How did that make you feel that that was your son?
Of course I didn't like that, but you know, he portrayed himself that way on the show, so they had every right to feel that way about him because of the way he was acting. But nonetheless, I didn't like that name put on him.
Yeah, the thing is, when I was out there playing, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but the whole time I was there, I was thinking what grandmother would think, which is her mother, that she just passed away not long ago. And I was worried about her like completely disregarding me and being embarrassed of me by the things I did out there. But when I got back, to my surprise, I can remember the first time going over there, I thought she was going to be embarrassed of the things I did on the show. But she never said anything about being embarrassed. Matter of fact, she was a huge fan of mine when I got back. Then from then on, she would ask me, when she would watch Survivor, and she would say, it's boring without you there, So it was a weird thing when I got back. Very few family members told me anything negatively. And I thought that grandmother would definitely say something. Was it surprise to you that she actually accepted it and was watching it and was rooting for me, like the way I was playing?
Oh yeah, because he was entertaining. I mean, I seen another side of Russell that I've never seen before, and it was just entertaining, and it was entertaining to my mother also. And I mean, I can't tell you the times that we just, I just thought it was just so hilarious, the things that he would do, not to hurt people, but just in the way that he just manipulated things, and just it just was so entertaining to me.
Yeah, so when I got back, they had all this negative publicity about me. And, I went out there and I did what I did. I'm not complaining about my edit. My edit was my edit. I went out there and I played aggressively. I did whatever it took to win the game. I had a fake story about being with me and Hurricane Katrina. What I was trying to do was I was trying to make them feel sympathy towards me, to where it would be harder to vote me out. Almost the same thing. I just thought about this recently because Johnny Fairplay is going to be coming on the show soon. And just like Johnny Fairplay did with his grandmother, the reason he said his grandmother passed away is because he wanted them to feel sympathy so they wouldn't vote him out. So I figured, hey, I was a firefighter. They would feel sympathy. At no time did I think that it would be as negative as it was when I did everything I did. You know that show, Regis and Kelly? And now they have, what is it, Regis and, is it Michael Strahan, yeah. So they have Regis and Michael, and they did a little thing on me. Jeff Probst actually said, Russell, I really think you're a bad guy. You seen that, Mom, and Dad's seen that, and Dad's not too happy with that. And what do you think about that when people talk about your kids like that?
Well, they don't really know you. They really don't know you. You played a game, you deceived, and you lied. But I watch Survivor all the time now, and it's very few people that go out there that doesn't do some kind of deceiving along the way. And you were a little bit more radical, but that doesn't make you a bad person.
On my first season, 19, one of the girls asked me when I was making my speech for the $1 million. She asked, "Oh, you really like that in real life?" And because I was talking about lying, cheating, and stealing. If you're like that in real life, if you lie, cheat, and steal in real life, you know where you end up? You end up in prison. So, no, I'm not like that in real life. Half the people that play the game, you lie, cheat, and steal to get your way through the end of the game. Real life, you end up in jail if you do those things. So you just don't do it in real life. I've never asked you this question. When I got off of season 19, I called Dad. I think it was, I don't know if it was you or Dad that I was talking to. And then y'all told me Grandma passed away. Why didn't y'all decide to tell me while I was on the island? Like, who made that decision? When did that, what happened with all that while I was gone?
There was no way that they would have gotten him back over here for the funeral. We didn't think that there was any reason to get him all upset.
I mean, what did Grandpa think about me not going to her funeral? I mean, was anybody
said
upset?
anything. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, because
they knew you were in another country. How can you come back?
Well, not everybody knew that. Not everybody's supposed to know, just the immediate family. My aunts and everybody else that just sees me not even showing up. I wonder if they just think that that's... I mean, later on they found out what the deal was, but...
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there was no point
upset.
in time that y'all were going to make a phone call to get me back?
No. I mean, I wasn't that. This was your daddy's mama. He didn't say anything about it. That really would have been his decision.
If you would have brought that in to the show, they would have told me while I was on the island filming, probably. And then it goes back to what I just said earlier about Johnny Fairplay. He actually said that his grandmother passed away while he was on the island for sympathy.
Yeah.
And, he got the sympathy because they all thought it did. This would have been like, it really happened to me.
Right.
People wouldn't have believed it, and that would have made me mad.
That's true.
It would have made me, I would have been more aggressive. That's at a point in time where it probably could have turned into a totally different atmosphere for me, because if somebody told me I'm lying when I'm telling the truth, I would have been very upset. Who was your favorite on this last season of Game Changers?
The little girl that went to the end.
Aubrey.
I love her.
There you go. Aubrey has a podcast now. She has her own podcast like this.
Yeah, Aubrey, and I love the little Asian man.
Kai.
Yeah, I liked them on the shows they played in before.
Mm-hmm.
The little woman that was sent home because she had to go because all the votes were taken up, and they had
Serene.
to send. Oh, yeah, I loved her too. I
We're
wanted to see her
really
win.
Close. She's a really good person outside the game too. She's a really good person.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon played right after me, and the first time he played, he did pretty well. He went all the way to the end. Second time he played, he gets kicked off the show, ultimately. And I think that the reason he got kicked off the show was because, he has big shoes to follow. He was trying to imitate some of the things or in his own way that I did, and he was young. That would be like me going out there at, 19 years old. That wouldn't have been good. If I would have went out there at 19, I don't know if I could have did as well as Brandon did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Willie gets on Big Brother, and he gets kicked off the show.
Yeah.
What they say is he headbutted, which it's clear he didn't. He pushed with his shoulder because the guy came and, started bucking up to him. But anyway... So he gets kicked off the show. So you have a son, two sons that played reality TV. One kicked off the show, a grandson kicked off the show, and one of the the worst villains in the history of the game. And Jeff said he said something one time. He was like, "Is it in the blood?" Do you think that the Hantzes can play reality TV? I mean, I went out there and played without any problem, but then we have 2 in a row that gets kicked off the show. Do you think your daughter Melanie would get kicked off the show?
Oh, that's kind of a rough question. I just they all have very aggressive spirits, that's for sure, and they all speak their mind. But when Willie left, I knew that wouldn't be a good show for him. That's too confining. It's too people in your face all the time, keeping you up all night long. I just didn't think he'd fare very well in that, and he didn't.
So when he left the house, you didn't think it would be a good fit
No,
for him?
I didn't think it was a good fit for him at all. Not at all.
You think Survivor would have been better for him?
I was just really surprised that you even lasted as long as you went. Going the first season, you played a great game, great game. I think you should have won the $1 million the first game. The second game, you went right back out there, and you just were a trooper. You lasted the whole time with that. That just amazed me that you just even last. I don't know if anybody in this family could actually do that. Now, Brandon did.
What do you mean? Go out there for long periods of time?
Yeah. It just amazed me.
If it would all start over, let's say not one of us would have played reality TV, who would you say in this immediate family would have the hardest time on an island like that? Who would you have said before anybody even played?
I would have thought it would have been you.
So you'd have thought that it would have been a rough gig for me to handle.
Yeah. I mean, I just you're not real mild-natured. And
Well, I think I'm getting better with age.
I think that's probably what it is. I didn't think you'd morph too well with people. And I was just really surprised that, you just really surprised me. Like whenever you were in the water, everybody was freezing to death. It was raining. Was that the first season or the second?
First season.
The first season you were on there, it was raining, freezing cold. They were all freezing cold. And he would not show that he was cold. That man was in the water with him, and he was literally trembling and shaking. And he told Russell, "I don't know how you can't be cold." Russell was just sitting there like he was in a tub of hot water. And it just amazed me the power of his concentration and his mind, that he made up his mind.
I went into that place. I went focused. People would holler at me. I didn't holler back. People would do things. I didn't do nothing. I was so focused. It was scary. They had a challenge, and I'm going to tell a little story that you might not even know. Well, you don't know, and the viewers don't know. In season 19, they had a challenge. The last challenge, I was going after who kept winning. See, I can't even remember his name. What was the guy that kept winning? Not Eric.
I'm not even sure.
I don't even know his name. You see? The one that I said, he's not Mike Tyson. Brett. He's Brett. He's not Mike Tyson. So anyway, yeah, Brett we kept winning challenges. And I remember that day going when we had to put the sticks back to back all the way up in the air, and the statue was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going into that challenge so focused. Like I knew I was going to win the challenge. Well, the challenge started. We went through the whole thing. I'm sitting there. I'm thinking of the kids. I'm thinking of, just, I don't know how I was able to get into that place of just steadiness. I'm praying. I'm doing everything that I know to stay focused and not move. Then you put another foot, which is another stick, and then another foot underneath. You keep bringing it up higher and higher, and the statue has to stay on. The one that holds the statue on the longest wins. And every 30 minutes or so, you put another stick on, which is probably a little over a foot, it looked like. So anyway, we're all the way up. We're 8 sticks high, and this thing is waving, both me and Brett. Well, all of a sudden, Brett's falls off, and when his hits the ground, and as soon as it does, I push mine and I try to catch it with my hand, like something cool. So as soon as his hit the ground, I'm like, yes, and I push mine and I try to catch it, and Jeff said, no, we wasn't finished. I was supposed to count it down. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, this is like an hour into the competition. He's like, no, he's like, Russell, I was supposed to count it down. You were supposed to wait till I told you won. And I was like, Jeff, his hit the ground. I won. And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that. And then they took a little break, and then they got their executive producers together and all this. Then they say, nope, got to do it over. I had to do that challenge over again. I just beat him, and I had to beat him again. Somebody that just won 3 or 4 challenges in a row, I have to beat again. But you know what? I was so focused. I wasn't losing that challenge. Not that day, not any day. I could have won 10 in a row. So we did it again. I beat him again. So, I can remember Natalie White, Mick, everybody was like, Jeff, that's not right. We just won because we knew he would win the whole thing if he went to the end. So I got to be, my mind went into a place when I played that game that I don't know if I'll ever be able to get to that place again. I was just so focused in everything I did strategically, mentally. They were freezing cold. I tried to stay steady the whole time and almost be their strength too, try to help them, because I was true to my alliance, and I wanted them to get to the end with me. So, it was an experience that I've never been able to repeat again. And I think that's what you've seen. You've seen that kind of strength that you never seen before.
Yeah, that's it.
Something like that happened. Well, so Willie gets kicked off. Was you upset about that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm always excited whenever they're going off to one of these things. A little bit anxious, but I was really kind of shocked in a way that he had to leave so soon. I was looking forward to him being on there a little bit longer than that. And
Yeah, because that's kind of cool. You get to watch it every day. It's Big Brother. You get to you watch the live feeds and see what they're doing all the time.
Yeah, and I did. I watched it
You was watching the live feeds?
all the time. All the time.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I got a few questions here from the fans that wants you to answer. One guy, Michael Edwards, wants to know, what did you think about Brandon's meltdown on Fans versus Favorites?
Well, I really didn't get a chance to watch that. I mean, like I said, Russell went through so much whenever he was on there 3 different times. I barely watched the last time he went on because I knew that was going to happen fast.
Right.
And I just couldn't hardly watch Brandon's show because of it. It was just, it was just disheartening, to see them go through bad stuff like that. And I didn't even watch that part. So.
Okay, well that's fine. We'll move on. Next question: what kind of kid was Russell?
Russell was a good kid. He never gave me any trouble. He wasn't rebellious. He listened, He was very, when he'd do anything, like he lifted weights when he was young, and he was always a little man, but he lifted weights and he won a state competition lifting the weights, and he always was very, very into anything he did. I remember he would run every single day. We lived out in the country, and he'd run down alongside the railroad tracks all the way into town to my mama's house, and he was just so committed. That was like 4 miles one way. And but
And
he
I
was,
ran back too.
yeah, he was just a good kid. He was just a good kid.
Okay.
And
Well, that's going to probably surprise a lot of people. would you be how would you feel if another one of us was about to go on another reality show?
well, I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of that. I'm just not. Once they're in it, I'm all for them, but I'm never rooting for them to hurry up and go back on another one. Never. I just, I don't know. I see further than 15 minutes of fame.
Right. Okay, well they got this is a pretty good one here. What was the and this is probably interesting for me too. What was the most embarrassing thing? It says your son or grandson did, but it's probably going to be with me. Did I do anything out there to embarrass you, or did you accept that it was just a game?
No, I never was embarrassed. I just felt like it was just a game. I think he went a little overboard swearing on his kid's life,
Yeah.
a lot overboard. But everything else, I wasn't embarrassed of it. He did what he had to do to get to the end.
Yeah, another question was you proud of anything that I did out there?
Yeah, I was proud of the way you held yourself. It's just like I seen that. I seen the way you could have come. You could have come apart and been rough on, with your mouth out there with those people. But I was just shocked that you just kept your mouth closed and you just you didn't say what you really felt like saying, and you didn't do what you really felt like doing.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I went out there to try to win $1 million, and people think my social game was bad. If I was gonna have a bad social game, then I wouldn't have been fan favorite twice.
No, that right there, that tells you, that speaks volumes, that the people that were watching, not the people that was playing with, but the people that was watching the show was highly entertained by him. Highly.
If you could change time, would you not let us play the games?
Yeah, I don't like it. I've never told Russell this, but I just, when he first told me he was going on it, I thought, oh, I didn't even want him to go when he first told me. But like I say, I got into the game and everything.
Yeah, because when I first went, I had Hantz tankering, I had a wife. Now it's all over. I don't have a wife. I don't have Hantz tankering. A lot's happened that a lot of people don't know.
At a bad time. It was bad timing, and I didn't think it was a good idea. No.
But do you think that it would be positive if I went back now, or do you think I should just stay away?
I think you ought to stay away.
You think it would do the same thing, that I would be the same person that played before?
It's not that. People's got already that they've got a perception of you, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
They perceive you the way they perceive you, and some people just can't let go of that in their heads. They can't. They can't forget about yesterday and live in the day. They're going to be thinking about yesterday and what happened, and what you might do to them again. They got a bad attitude.
It's not
towards
easy
you.
in life to hurt someone's feeling and forgive that person. It takes a strong person to. It's a tough game, because you hurt people's feelings, and then you're supposed to forgive them at the end and give them $1 million.
Right.
And that's hard to do in real life for any human. To forgive someone that stabbed them in the back and realize it's just a game.
Yeah.
But even now, I think you're right. If I went back and played now, that I would have a lot of animosity towards me, and people would be coming after me.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Well, that was interesting. Glad you could talk with me.
Glad to talk with you.
All right. Well, see you next time, and keep listening. Subscribe. Keep listening to the show, guys. See ya.